TWN podcast.
Episode 2 of Carnyland starts with an opening video narrated by Billy Corgan, who says, "You may like or hate the things you do, but we'll promise you something different," as they welcome them to Carnyland. And I'll tell you, it was one of the two things, and it wasn't the same one as I had from last week with this episode.
No.
We get another class from Alison Kay on how to get heat during your entrance. This was really, really funny, but then they ruined it because I had Ziggy Dice. And I like Ziggy Dice, but they shouldn't have him interrupt this. He was asking about the big rumour, because it's not about a rumour, and he said he's got heat with the office. They ruined the Alison Kay bit, because the Alison Kay bit was generally one of the highlights of last week, because it was just her completely just destroying the concept of a generic indie heel.
It was fantastic.
So good.
Just everything that came through with.
Joe Galley reveals the big announcement to be made, only to be interrupted by Stu Bennett, who says, "I'm afraid I've got some breaking news that will be revealed during this show." We then hear in like a one-bit theatre, we hear that James Storm is banned from Vermont. That was the one bit that made me laugh in this. If they're going to do this, where they just have wrestlers just tell the end of a story and then not come back to it.
It's great. They just throw that at you, and you're just like, "What the fuck did I just miss?"
It was just brilliant. I absolutely loved it. And then we got an advert for May Valentine's 100% pure hand sanitizer.
Look, all I'm going to say, she's as pure as the driven snow.
We then were about to get another lesson from Tim Storm with the classmates of Marty Bell and that Kyle Davis guy. Kyle Davis looked like every extra in... You know those weird adult movies where they set him in a school even though it's an adult movie, so it's just weird? With Marty...
Yeah.
With Marty was fine, but I imagine there's a lot of, I'll say it, simps out there that enjoyed Marty Bell being... dressed in school uniform. What up, the simps? But Carl Davis literally looked like, when they do it and you look and go, that doesn't even look like a bloke that goes to a school. He's 40 with tattoos. Why are you sitting in this history class?
It was weird.
But then Marty Bell asks about the rumour, and then we hear rumours about this big announcement. We then see Sal Renaro, who's in Carnyland therapy, and he's worried that his announcement is getting fired. He's gone full Eric Young. He's gone full TNA Eric Young.
I was at the point where all I could think of was like, are you actually employed full time?
I love that bit, because he was like, when the film get fired, and he's like, well, you're not employed by the NWA, so why are you getting fired? He's like, fair point. And they just risk off all of his issues, and Dr. Hathaway says there's no one like him. I'm then offended because we have Wrestler Dad, and we didn't see a full viewing of My Dad is a Heel Wrestler, starring the only Wrestler Dad right now, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
The only wrestling dad that matters.
Nick Aldis told a story about him facing Sting, and his son couldn't literally give a shit. He's a child as well, so he could have literally shit himself. We then see an advert for Josephus's brand of sea bed and breakfast. It was just a borderline storage unit.
I'm going to stay there.
I've been in a worse Airbnb. In all fairness, me and you have probably stayed in worse... Actually, no, we've stayed in a hotel where the door didn't lock.
No, let's be more precise. We stayed in a hotel where none of the doors in the entire hotel locked.
Yes, this is true, and they had to let us in our room. Someone walking up because all the doors were broken.
It's almost like we had a chaperone for the whole time we stayed there.
We saw episode 2 of Monrovia Unmasked, as Aaron Stevens talked about the vacation spot of the No Answer Sea and Mask Island, the birthplace of...
Penis.
Karate. I set you up for your big spot there, and you had to say penis, didn't you?
I didn't say penis.
It sounded like you said penis.
I said happiness.
Oh, well,
they were intrinsically linked, I suppose.
The habit got cut off, so like you said penis. Now we both said penis 3 times.
Oh, penis.
Penis.
I like even numbers. Oh, penis.
Penis. Any more?
Let's just get into a penising contest.
It's a penis party. Someone called Joey Ryan. We then see a Zoom call with Strictly Business, and they're furious about not knowing the rumour. Nick Aldis wants to know what it is. We then see the NWA dunking on Tom Segura. This would be fine if this wasn't like out of date as the person who mocks wrestling on the internet and got dunked on by everyone else. Yeah, there's been like at least 2 more in the last 2 weeks.
2 weeks in the last 4 days.
we then hear the announcement from Billy Corgan, as the entire roster awaits the announcement, which there'll be an election to determine the first mayor of Carnyland. I was upset that I couldn't apply to be the mayor of Carnyland. Nick Aldis is very happy about this. To close, bonuses in this one. The thing with James Storm was very, very funny, and we saw Tom Campbell from Caraholic, and he is a lovely man. So I was happy that he was on this. Other than that, this was nowhere near as good as last week's. It was all over the place.
Yeah, last week really set the bar high, and just this week just left it sort of lacking, didn't it?
I did though watch some of the other content on the NWA channel, the weekly shows.
Ooh,
I watched the Eli Drake show, which was very fun, but he needs to work on it. Like, Eli, your show was very, very funny, and you're very, very to the point, and I do like the thing where you're basically going, I've been fired for for shooting my mouth off, and now this place is giving me my own show. So let's start the countdown until I get fired. And he just goes off about Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns and shows about crowds and stuff. But his sound effects are 5 times louder than him, so I turned it up so I couldn't hear it on my TV, and then just massive sound effect at 11 at night, and I was like, Jesus Christ. What's causing all this with Nick Aldis? Really, really good. Really fun. It's basically an interview series, and Nick Aldis wants this to be like a, Sunday Supplement, or one of the, Inside Baseball, one of those proper
like a magazine show.
Yeah, like a magazine show about wrestling. Him, Tom Latimer, who I know as his previous stuff, but he was actually quite interesting in this, and Crimson have a conversation about starting in the business and their first set of gear and how they got their gear. It was really, really interesting, but there was loads of stories about Brian Dixon.
Right, I'm going to go back and
I need more stories about Brian Dixon. It's
the important question about anything when Brian Dixon gets brought up. Did they do an impression?
No. Nick Aldis did a Brian Dixon impression.
That's okay, because that's basically wrestling law. If you bring up Brian Dixon, you've got to do an impression. I've never met the guy, so I can't.
All I'm going to say is there is a story about Volta being told to wear a Kane mask.
That's everything.
It's amazing. I need to watch the last 20 minutes because they just got on to burying his Brutus Magnus gear.
And
him
you turned it off when it got good.
It was 2 a.m. I was exhausted. So I'm gonna watch the rest of this later on. It's really, really good. And they got the Girl Power thing starting on Friday, so I'm gonna check that out.
On Friday. That I'm really, really interested in.
I'm not sure what it is. They've not really explained what it is, but I imagine it's going to be another interview style thing. But I would go check them two out. Go check out the Eli Drake show and What's Causing All This. They're doing some really, really good content over there.